Boom. My name is Andrew. I'm 23, born and raised in Toronto. My love of barbecue kind of was born during COVID. My mom got a little pellet grill in the backyard and I was looking for something to do. I was bored, so I started up with that. And since then, it's been a love affair. So it is February 2nd, 5:30-ish in the morning. These briskets are gonna go pretty much all day. So today's a super important day for a few reasons. One of which being it's my biggest cook yet on this smoker. I'm doing 17 briskets and a few racks of beef ribs. But also because it's Muddy York, the brewery that we're at tomorrow, it's their closing party. So we're preparing for a big weekend. It's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a very big one. I'm gonna be outside for the better part of 12 hours today, managing that fire, making sure it's giving me a consistent temperature, especially in this weather. Fire needs a lot more maintaining than it would in a more humid, warmer environment. But it's crucial to wake up. If you don't get that fire started and build yourself a nice cool bed, you're gonna be out here dealing with temperature fluctuations all day. I mean, there's really no choices here. All right, so right now the briskets have been on for about an hour and a half. I'm just checking these front ones up by the fire to make sure they're not getting too hot, nothing's getting too crispy. Kind of gives me an indication of how my fire is burning. But as of right now, everything's been pretty good. There's really a lot that goes into a weekend like we're having this weekend, so there's always something to do. These morning hours are my favorite because there's nothing to do. I get to sort of have a slower start to my day, enjoy the morning, enjoy a hot cup of coffee, and think about all the things I have to do later on. At this point in the morning, we're burning a little bit lower in terms of temperature just to get that smoke on while the meat is still fairly raw. All the magic right now is happening with the fire. Keeping that fire low, steady, even burning is the name of the game. So when I first started cooking barbecue, I had no idea what I was doing. It was all in the backyard and the entire understanding of barbecue had come from YouTube. My trim was off. I didn't know anything about temperatures in terms of internal temperature of the meat or temperature of the pit. And that all came kind of gradually as I cooked more and more barbecue and definitely had to mess up quite a few briskets. You cut open to it and it's all dry. I mean, that's probably the worst feeling that anyone in barbecue has ever felt. But at the same time, it's super humbling. And for me, at least, it kind of lit the fire in me to keep getting better and perfect the product. I'm gonna move these beef ribs over to here, move one of the briskets up front to this top rack. This top rack will just burn a little bit hotter. Getting to this point, it's been a lot of trial and error, but being here now, it's not so much the briskets I'm worried about, it's more managing my fire, keeping consistent temperatures, especially in the cold weather. Consistency is key. It is 8:13 in the morning. Briskets have been on for the better part of 3.5 hours. Beef ribs are starting to look really good. The meat is pulling from the bones. Now we can start kind of kicking up the temperatures a little bit and start rendering down some fat. Behind me is my 500-gallon bog line offset smoker. I felt like I was ready for the jump when I got back from Texas. After spending a few months down there and cooking on their pits and eating the barbecue down there first and foremost, I knew that I had to bring some of this back home. Up here, people have no idea what it is. I've gotten boat, bomb. Someone asked me why my central heating was outside. It goes to show the amount of barbecue culture Canada has. Opening a barbecue joint using completely wood-fired smokers is definitely a dream, and I think that the Toronto restaurant market would be thrilled to have. It's kind of just waiting for the right time, the right place, and hopefully when that comes, that we'll be ready to open. So during the daylight hours, I like to do some prep for the next day, so I don't gotta wake up and season all these ribs. We do everything pretty simple. Kosher salt, black pepper. This is like a very typical barbecue rub. Okay, so now that this backside is done, I'll kind of just pat everything in and we'll flip over to our presentation side. I think what a lot of people don't understand is what goes into cooking barbecue like this. I mean, I'm no victim. I love what I do. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. But there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into cooking barbecue for a living. My dad calls me crazy every day, which I mean, I understand it's not for everyone. You don't see a lot of people out here in the morning at that time, let alone cooking. I've questioned whether or not I want to do this for the rest of my life quite a few times. You got to be up early in the morning and you got to be up late at night, and so there's not a lot of time for friends or any sort of relationship, so it definitely takes a toll, and that makes you question whether or not you want to do it. But it all becomes worth it. It's like everything else in life. Sometimes in the moment feels harder than you want it to be, and I feel like it's taking a toll on your mental health and your physical health. But at the end of the day, when I'm serving customers and they're happy and they're smiling and they're eating and they're enjoying the food with their families, there's no better feeling than that, and it kind of makes it all worth it. a half pound of small mac. Today was the busiest day we've ever had. As soon as the doors opened, there was a line out the door.
Oh my God, I'm so excited for this.
Really? Yeah. I appreciate you guys coming out, for sure. That's awesome. We went through 16 briskets, 12 racks of rib, 5 whole pork bellies, all the sides we had. I sold my brisket for today and tomorrow, all today. You guys were asking me yesterday why I get up at 3 a.m. in the morning. That's what it's all about. I mean, there's nothing better than seeing happy customers, filling people's bellies. All the hard work pays off.
Oh my God. Is that the whole thing?
The whole family was involved. I had brother in the back scooping sides. Mom was here. Brother's girlfriend was back there too. Dad's over at Costco right now getting more food for tomorrow. We're gonna have to double up on what we cooked. So overall, I mean, I couldn't be happier. It's the best feeling in the world. I'd love Golden Horseshoe to become a household name in the city of Toronto. I'd like it to be the first thing people think about when they want to go grab some barbecue for the family. I think that once the brick and mortar comes to life, I'll start being able to focus more on the future and what the future holds. Best advice I've gotten has probably been do what you love doing. You do what you love doing, you don't feel like you work a day in your life.